If you're not well steeped in the history of classical music, you at least watch Bugs Bunny, right?
Yes.
And Iranian audiences would have watched these Bugs Bunny shorts too.
You've discovered some of these films where literally soundtracks or sound from iconic Western films gets pirated or sampled and put into Iranian films. Now, this is not now borrowing a plot. This is actually an Iranian film that is using the sound or soundtrack from a Western film. You have a couple of these examples. I don't want to play them. The first one is using the soundtrack of Bernstein's score from West Side Story. Can you set this up?
So this is from a film that is sort of a remake of West Side Story. The English title would be like Tough Guys and Dandies. And it's two gangs. One are sort of the neighborhood toughs, and the other one are the kind of over-the-top stylized dandy figures. And it actually plays elements of the West Side Story score. We hear the sort of snapping, that kind of jazz snapping from the beginning of the film on. And what happens in this particular clip is the kind of rumble scene, like the rumble scene in West Side Story. The two gangs, they fight. But the way the scene is set up is that you have the dandies are snapping with that one-handed jazz snap.
Yeah. And you should use the Persian title so the Iranians are going to know what. Go ahead. So that, yeah.
Jaheha va gigoloha. Yeah.
So the gigolos are doing the snap like the Jets, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And the Jahels, they are doing beshkan, the two-handed, much louder, much more forceful snap. Right. And and I know, just calling back to one of your guests you had on the program talking about soundscapes in cities. This is in many of these theaters. These films played in loudspeakers. In many of the theaters, films played in loudspeakers outside of the theater, and people, especially children, would hang out and listen to the soundtracks of films. This sound that you'll hear, I mean, I can't imagine that an audience sitting outside, not even watching the film, wouldn't hear the difference between the Jets jazz snap and the beshkan, right? And totally get the joke without even seeing the film. So it's part of the soundscape of the city as well as the soundscape of this particular film.
Let's just play this clip. Go ahead, Chad.
کمتره معطل چی هستی؟ به جا میبینم
But it's literally sampling the melody from Bernstein's score, right? I mean,
it is.
Yeah. It's not just borrowing the idea of the finger snaps. It's literally, hey, everybody, this is West Side Story. The other one is just as interesting. It steals from the soundtrack of the epic film Gone with the Wind and Tara's theme. Set this one up for us, will you?
That's right, yeah. And what we hear, so this is the clip from Party in Hell, a film that Samuel Khachikian worked on. I already mentioned him. And it's this very interesting kind of fantasy film. For those of your listeners who know Georges Méliès, it sort of borrows elements from that kind of early cinema style. And this character in this kind of fever dream goes into hell and goes through these kind of adventures. And this is the moment where he has this kind of change of heart. He realizes the error of his avarice and has this important sentimental transformation, this emotional transformation. And so he's grabbing these bills, this money, to the sound of the Barber of Seville, which is, we probably know it from Bugs Bunny. If you're not well steeped in the history of classical music, you at least watch Bugs Bunny, right?
Yes.
And Iranian audiences would have, watched these Bugs Bunny shorts too. I was at the Warner Brothers archive tracing these films and how they were shipped into Iran. So they definitely played. And so you have the soundtrack for Barber of Seville. And then at the moment, the main character has his kind of emotional transformation. You just cut the sound abruptly to Tara's theme from Gone with the Wind, which is this classic sentimental overture. Yes. And we hear that in several Iranian films, but you'll hear it very clearly in this one.
I love that. I mean, you know, there's this this tradition that we have of claiming everything started with Iranians. You know, we invented everything. So I love that we invented sampling. You know, that has now become the thing